And we are live. Well, happy Thanksgiving weekend to everyone. I hope you all enjoyed your holiday. Those that celebrate, hope you enjoyed your holiday with family and friends. And now we're starting to get into the holiday shopping season with Black Friday yesterday, obviously. And for those of us that buy a lot of things online, we have, the entire weekend plus Cyber Monday coming along. Mostly Cyber Monday is for electronics and such. Um, Already put in my few little things there on the list, the Christmas list, and hopefully, you know, hopefully, my wife and my daughters get around to picking up the two things, but they're big asks. But the two things that I'm really hoping for is a new computer and another big bookshelf like the one you see behind me, a matching bookshelf. I am planning on reorienting this entire space that I'm in, basically putting the computer on that wall, which will give me plenty of room on the wall that you never see for the two bookshelves and some of my other things. So, and hopefully I don't have to get rid of that chase behind me that my wife really wants to keep there, but I'm trying to work on that as well. So, so hopefully they have a good holiday shopping afternoon, and they come back in really good spirits. And we shall see. We'll see where that goes. This was really an impromptu live stream. I figured, wow, you know what? I probably have like an hour or two of some free time to jump online and to chat with all of you. So you're welcome to drop in anything that's maybe on your holiday list or your Cyber Monday you know want to get list. So really look forward to that. There are tons and tons of sales on Drive Through RPG or other. Amazon has a bunch of things on sale as well that are gaming related. So certainly check out those as well. And I was also going to spend a little time talking about my plans for the channel moving forward over the next couple of weeks leading into the closeout of the year. So really excited about wrapping up another year for the channel. As you may know, the anniversary date for this channel is December 30th. So by December 30th, I'm hoping to hit a few milestones and do some giveaways at that point. Welcome, Matt Lind. Welcome. I don't recognize your name, so hopefully this is a first time while I'm modding Skyrim. Yeah, you know what? And I was looking. The one thing there's two games that I don't think I have on Steam, and that is I don't have Oblivion and I don't have Morrowind. So I also don't have Redguard, but I don't think I'm gonna bother with that. But I have everything else, Elder Scrolls. So I have Daggerfall. I don't have Dark Spire either, or whatever that was called. But I do have Daggerfall, and then I have some of the other ones, Skyrim, obviously, and Elder Scrolls Online and such. I think at least another one thrown in there as well. I'm kind of slipping my mind which ones I do have. And I just picked up a couple Sid Meier's games that were like $3 a pop. So I may actually show those off as well. I was always a big fan of Sid Meier's Pirates, and so I'm going to jump in on there as well. Probably show that off a little bit on the channel. So yes, nice to have you no longer lurking and chatting in there. So if there's anything you'd like for me to take a look at, including Skyrim, I'd love to hear what you're modding for Skyrim. But if there's anything else you want to chat about, feel free to jump right in there. Hello, Terry. How's it going? And welcome. And this is just a quick impromptu live stream. I had some time. My wife and my daughters are out shopping, and figured, hey, the dog is sleeping, and there's plenty of time to actually jump online and to chat a little bit with you guys, especially since it is the holiday weekend. So we're kind of winding down on certain things. Plus, it's a big shopping weekend. So, love to hear any of the things that you're looking to pick up with all of the sales and everything. Hopefully game related, so that we can kind of share some ideas about games that we can look into. So let's see. Few other things. So I will throw up the first banner here. So it is Venger Satanis's birthday, so happy birthday, Venger Satanis! And I don't know if you're lurking as well, but I threw in here kind of tongue in cheek, but why simply Chalt when you can dive into some Alpha Blue? And so I'm just showing off that I do have Alpha Blue here. I also have all of the Chalt, but I believe that he's doing a sale on Chalt, so you can definitely jump in on that as well. That would be a great birthday present for Venger Satanis, who is a great friend of this channel, and I really do enjoy his work. So happy birthday there, mate, and enjoy the rest of your day. So now we will get back to next here. So let's see, Matt. But go on with your show. I am in the game now. I don't have multi-monitor setup. All right. Well, enjoy. You can always go back and watch this later, which will be great as well. And you can then start commenting and adding a few points in there even after the fact. And I will get to them. So don't worry about that. So let's see what else. What is I planning on talking about in like the minutes leaning into the start of this live stream. So these are all of the upcoming videos that I have that I've been working on and getting ready to do. Now I don't pre-record things and jump. I usually just jump right in. That's why it's called Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. So I will, very, very much so. I am unscripted, and sometimes that leads to things that I have to go back on. Sometimes it comes out and it doesn't record properly. I just recently had to do that with a short, and I had to delete a short that just never uploaded properly. And then my most recent video, I actually had to re-upload all over again. Spectrum is just shit for internet service, unfortunately, and it's they have a monopoly in my region, and certainly in my town, so that doesn't help very much there either. So but as you can see, I have been running videos, and I'm getting ready to do the video for Conan the Barbarian #3 from Titan Comics. Now this is the first one, and I've been really impressed with with where they're taking this. They're the new holder for the IP for Conan Comics. So that's Hero Signatures, and then they are either third partying out to Titan Comics, or Titan Comics is part of Heroic Signatures, who is part of Funcom, and I'm going to forget the other company now, the larger company. That's just slipping my mind at the moment. It'll come back to me. But anyway, it's been a great series, and so far the author of this newer series, so the writer is it's Jim Zub. Jim Zub has actually come on my channel and left at least 2 comments about it, and then Jeffrey Shanks, who is an author and historian and archaeologist, and runs Robert E. Howard Days, and has done a lot of work on Robert E. Howard as an author, from a historian's perspective and stuff. He actually writes the articles that are in the back of these comics, and I've been covering those as well. So looking forward to going back into comic book number 3, and then moving forward. I have 4, and then 5 and 6 aren't out yet. So I'll probably span those out and wait till I get like 3 months supply and then jump right into them. So let me check the comments here. I've been thinking about backing TMT. All right, so TMT is the next one. It has 48 hours to go, or possibly 3 days at the most. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I was going to hold this up just to remind you. Now, you're not going to get this version of it. This is the original black title version of it, which they've made some changes back in the day and shifted to that yellow, the yellow title color. That's the one that you're going to get. I'm really, really hopeful that I certainly expect that it will break the 1 million mark, but I have predicted that you are going to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles once they release the reprintings of these, which I believe is going to be in September. We should start getting the physical copies. And I anticipate that near the end of 2024 and certainly into 2025, you are going to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles being run at conventions. And if you've been following my channel, you know that I've been really big on the OSR and the indie game masters. Get out there if we are going to conventions and run both OSR and independent games out there, just to give them that added boost of exposure, to bring new people in on the games, whether they're old or newer, and to bring them on in. And I would hope that Palladium and Paramount, who owns the license for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, seizes the opportunity to actually update the game, even more so if it's being slightly updated, and actually come out with a second edition. I think that it would do phenomenally well if they did that, and looking forward to it. So hopefully they do. Hopefully they go on to that. That is a true, and I know this is going to be a little jab at somebody who I won't mention, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is bigger than Dungeons and Dragons. It's bigger financially. It's bigger as far as a global product. It is more well known as a global product, and it is also in every facet of the entertainment and merchandising venues that you can find it in, right? I am more likely to see someone wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt than I am a Dungeons and Dragons shirt. All right, even though I own a few of the D&D shirts and none of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles yet, but when the game does come out, hopefully they'll have some T-shirts as options along with it. I want a T-shirt specific to the tabletop role-playing game, and not just the movies or the cartoons or whatnot. So anyway, let me get back to comments here and see. I had all the original TMT series, but I gave it to my nephew because he was such a Turtles fan. Well, it's still out there, right? And now you'll have the opportunity to get them again in both hardcover form and so forth. I backed it at like the $100 level because I don't need the alternative covers and everything. And the $100 level is going to give me everything that I really want, up the 2 books, and then I will most likely get the set of dice. So I want to get the shredder dice, which are the aluminum ones, because I don't have any metal dice. So I figured, let me get one of those, and then I'll probably get the Game Master's shield if there is one. So if there isn't, then I might get the dice tray. I'm not quite sure. I am certainly looking to run this at a at a convention, and so I want as many of the objects that are visible of what I'm running at the table, at my table, so that people passing by will say, "Hey, look, he's running Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles," and then maybe they'll ask about it. Maybe they'll even ask if they can have a seat and play at the game. So that's what I want to do with it moving forward. So let's see, going back to my thing. So I just started jumping into Legendary Adventure, and I did the first video, the intro video, and then I am going to delve a little bit deeper. So that's Legendary Adventure. This is by Gary Gygax. This is the 3rd game system he made post TSR, and it was begun to had been published by Trollord Games, and then it got tied up in lawsuits as well. So it ended up where it was pulled out of publication. The reason why I brought it up now is that Trollord Games has a Kickstarter for The Hermit, which was an adventure originally written for this game system, and then converted to Castles and Crusades, and that is currently in Kickstarter right now as well. But it already hit the 70,000 mark, and so that kind of unleashed the original copy of what Trollord Games had done, making a rules light version of Legendary Adventure. And so so I wanted to actually delve into the system a little bit more while we're at it. So and this will tie into some of the things like the worlds of Gary Gygax, and that's the reason why I threw that up there, is because I see that there's going to be a great potential for the continued success of Trollord Games as they're bringing out and republishing many of Gary Gygax's works, that perhaps they'll get around to actually securing the rights of producing things that have yet to be seen in publication, that Gary Gygax's estate was still holding on to. So we might actually see some new Gary Gygax materials, and that's really exciting. You can be, I know people will be like, oh, if you're an old school gamer, then it's both Dave Arneson and Gary Gygax, and you could be a fan of both. I just want to make that very, very clear, that you cannot separate their combined effort to create Dungeons and Dragons, but you can separate them in the sense that each one's individual contributions were very unique, and each one carried its own weight as a legacy moving forward. And it's really good to see that some of Gary Gygax's world building is actually getting out there, and for hopefully a new generation to actually see that world building, and hopefully we can distance his legacy from the tarnish that it's been getting from Wizards of the Coast, and those people involved with 5e in particular. But moving forward, it's like they're trying to move away from Gary Gygax's legacy, and here we have a company in Trollord Games, and potentially the Gary Gygax estate is going to independently push forward his legacy, I think, in a much more positive way. So and that's good for the overall hobby. So let me continue on my list here. I was going to begin. So the one short that I had to actually delete because it, for some reason, did not upload properly, was I was announcing in a short that I'm going to start doing a Robert E. Howard series. So I have many collectibles that are associated with Robert E. Howard. He is my favorite author, and bar none. I mean, even my second favorite, which would be J.R. Tolkien, is a far second. H.P. Lovecraft might actually be tied with Tolkien as well. But as you can see behind me, you can see I have a display of Robert E. Howard. I have Conan, 1982 Conan the Barbarian, displayed of the movie poster. I have three Funko Pops of Conan in various forms. I have Modiphius's Conan down here on one of the shelves that you can see with a little Conan statue I bought in the late 80s, and just goes on and on and on. So I will be showing off some of those things in either short videos or longer form videos as we go forward. And that's pretty much all of my videos that I'm looking to go forward with. So that's quite a lot if I keep to just those things. And then I'm still expecting some other items that will still be coming through Kickstarter fulfillment. Hopefully Shadow Dark is one of those, and I will talk about that when that comes up as well. So really excited about the stuff coming across the over the next couple of weeks leading into the new year. So looking to close out 2023 very strong. And I really appreciate all of you that have come in here and you've subscribed, and you've certainly contributed in the comments section and directed me towards various different topics or various different products out there that I should take a look at. And so, I'm really appreciative of everyone who either just passes through or, or comes in and subscribes and likes videos and comments and, gives me ideas about things to take a look at as well. So let's see, comments. So we left off with Terry, and so let's see. I will go back to my banners. So I will mention this, so I'm going to pop this up here. So my subscriber count just hit like 2950-ish. The way that those work is that I'll see it at 2950. I saw it briefly at 2950, and then it drops to 2949, and then it'll bounce up to 52, and then it'll come back. I don't know if that's a real number. Sometimes it bounces back and forth, but I did say that I was going to start talking about the giveaways that I am going to do for this channel once the channel hits the 3,005 sub count. The reason why I do that extra 5 is because, like I said, it fluctuates back and forth. And so I am going to begin sending out, and again, unfortunately, these are all physical, so just the continental United States. Anything else is kind of prohibitive as far as sending it out, via postal or FedEx or anything like that. It becomes extremely expensive, probably more expensive than the item itself is valued. And so, but I do have a lot of gaming materials that I do have access of. I have extra copies of it. I have an extra copy of one of Rose Estes's novels, one of her Greyhawk novels. I'm certainly going to give that out there. I have an extra copy of the Star Wars D6, the WEG series, the West End Games, Star Wars, the first of the core books, hardcover. I'm going to send that out. I ended up with with 2 copies of that because I bought I bought it separately, and then I found a bundle that was essentially so darn good that I just got the second copy via that means. I probably have a few things from some other RPGs that I have replacement copies or whatnot. I have some Castles and Crusades books that I'm going to give away because I do have the updated versions of them, or the updated issues. Yeah, they're called issues or printings. I'm sorry, updated printings of them. And so I'm certainly going to, give those out as giveaways for hitting that 3,005 sub market. So I'm certainly looking to start talking about some of the things that I do have that I am looking to, move forward and kind of spread spread some of the benefits of being a subscriber on the channel, and hopefully you enjoy getting those as well. Let's see. Good afternoon, Bo. How's it going? And yeah, this was just a throw together, impromptu. I had some time, and seeing you here, it just reminds me I do have to get back to doing some painting. I was working on my Orc Marauder, and I just kind of just stopped, and I still have his chainmail skirt, chainmail and fur skirt to finish up and such. So it's been so long since I've actually spent some time painting. I have to get into that, get back into that. So let's see. Palladium seems to be going through a bit of a renaissance. Yeah, and I really hope that they take the opportunity with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to update the game system, put out a new edition, put out a second edition of it, and capitalize off of the nearly $1 million Kickstarter that they're currently sitting on, and go out there and really push to make it as big as some of the other OSR and third-party publishers that are out there. I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles can surpass Call of Cthulhu here in the United States for certain, as far as the second most popular tabletop role-playing game being run. And it could definitely give D&D, I think, a challenge as far as the younger audience is concerned. Bringing them into the hobby, because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has greater appeal to the under 12 crowd than Dungeons and Dragons does. And so if they did come out with like a starter box and a very rules light version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they can tie that in directly with their toy lines and new cartoons that they're working on and such, that I think it'll hit it out of the ballpark. So I think that they could do an exceptional or they have an exceptional opportunity if they do jump on that, and they do, along with Paramount, which is a huge company, right? Paramount is actually bigger than Hasbro. I looked up the numbers, and their net value is close to 10 billion. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a much larger franchise than Dungeons and Dragons is. All right, I don't think people might realize that, or there's at least a couple people that don't want, or at least one that will never accept that idea. But it's definitely out there, and it's definitely more of a well-known global product than Dungeons and Dragons is. So let's see. Yes, you love not going to be able to say it. I'm sipping my rum here. So certain words are going to not come off my palate. Let's see. Not a fan of the car shorts. So I'm, sorry about that. The thing is that at least I'm not driving when I do them, but and that's just until I find something else that people really want to see. Shorts, those 1 minute videos, it's hard to get into anything like super in depth. But the car shorts are doing better than when I was doing the art cards, to be honest with you. And I was using like really well-known art cards. I was using Boris and 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 some other Frazetta, and those just weren't sparking anything. And the way that YouTube has changed some of their monetization and their algorithms and such, and just the way that you access into my channel. When you come into my channel, um, it's going to tailor what you see on a YouTube channel when you log into it to what you actually watch and look at. So if you're not into looking at shorts, you're going to see fewer suggested shorts when you jump in. If you're into watching particular content on my channel or somebody else's channel, when you log into that channel to take a look at a video, it's going to give you other suggestions based on your viewership. And like I said, I mean, YouTube has changed their monetization and their algorithm. They're really pushing for us content creators to do some shorts at least. And I've noticed a difference. I've noticed a difference in the reach of the channel. I've noticed a difference in the sub count rising, and I've noticed a difference in the monetization. They're really pushing for it, and I see a $4 or $5 difference from last month to this month, just by doing a few more shorts, because I stopped doing them for a while. So Mobius, let me know what you'd like to see in a short, and if it's something that I can pull off, I will give you some videos that you'd like to see as well in short form. All right, so moving on. Let's see. Come on by. We'll do a paint and chills for me. I would love to. I would absolutely love to, and that we can certainly try to schedule, Bo. I can't imagine both of us on there and me trying to paint and you probably painting really well. But I don't mind embarrassing myself sometimes, but it would be a lot of fun. So I will certainly catch up with you and we can see when we can schedule that. I did order one of Palladium's Christmas boxes. I asked for all sci-fi books. Cool. And you back the Kickstarter. Yeah. I'm really excited for it. Like I said, this is the kind of OSR I can really get behind. And yep, it's made it back to the outlet. Cool. Well, welcome back, Elle. I'm glad. I hope you didn't rush your meal too fast. But we're still on. Or I'm still on, I should say. I don't mind them. All right. Yeah, I'm guessing that's just shorts. Yeah, I just put them out there when I get a chance. Anytime I'm sitting there in the car just waiting to do something. I stopped going into work super early. So I only get there about a half an hour to 20 minutes earlier than I'm supposed to be at work. Because I found that when I was getting to work like an hour early, I was getting nothing out of that whatsoever. Because one time I had to leave early and I forgot to tell the office manager. But I had started like an hour and 15 minutes earlier, and she turned around and docked me the half hour that I left. And I was like, yeah, but I was there for, well over 4 hours. And, still I work part time. I'm semi retired. But anyway, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that shit anymore. So sometimes I'll sit in my car and I'll chill and I'll do a 1 minute video just to say hi. This is what's on my mind, real quick. Nothing to get really in depth with, but certainly, certainly something that was at least on my mind. Maybe I saw something on Twitter that I wanted to jump in on, or I just want to talk about, my gaming day for that particular morning or whatever. Do you wonder why? Yeah. Uh, you can set the shorts to not go to your subscribers. Yeah, but why would I do that, Ball? First of all, I'm not that savvy with all those settings. I know, um, I know L had come at me and he was saying like there's because he watches on his cell phone, and that freaking icon for the emojis that you can add to your things kind of overlays where you can comment, and you know there's something there that's there's a setting someplace in there, but it's not directly in YouTube. It's it's an extension that you have to put on. And to be honest with you, I don't like using extensions for anything. Um, I think that they screw things up more so than they help. And so um, I haven't looked at it, but I want my shorts to go to my subscribers. I want them to see that stuff. Yeah, they're tougher for small time creators. I mean, I'm not looking to be, a huge creator. I enjoy it. I do it as a hobby. I don't break even yet with how much I earn from it, and then what I do put out as far as like StreamYards and the subscription for that, and my Roll 20 subscription. So, but with the shorts recently, it's getting kind of close. So that's why I'm not going to stop doing them. But yeah, I don't anticipate that they're ever going to make it like it was back in its heyday. Like you don't get the buttons after 10,000 subscribers, and there's the only thing I notice is that there is a shift in the algorithm once you hit certain thresholds. Like I'm expecting to see another shift once my channel hits 3,000. Um, and then I don't think that there's another one until you break like 5,000 or maybe even 10,000. And when I say an algorithm shift, I think that it'll start getting recommended in a higher bandwidth because if that's the proper way to describe it, is that you just get more visibility once you hit certain levels. So yeah, I'm just going to keep on trudging along and everything. And I set these little, mental goals for myself. I hope I get to this point at this time. And I try to be very, very realistic with it. And so when it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, wait a couple more weeks. I'll eventually hit that. And I'm more concerned about just producing content that you all want to listen to or watch, and that's why I value comments much more than anything else in the algorithm, because comments is what's going to drive the next video I might do. All right, so but yeah, you know yeah, they're not as small time creators as they used to be, friendly towards them, but they're still really the only real game in town, because I've tried Rumble. I've had videos on Rumble for a long time, and I don't see how you grow on Rumble. Cool, Terry. Good to see. Al, no rush. I have dressing and turkey and just ate the potatoes and gravy, so I didn't get them on the phone. Well, cool. Um, yeah, that's the one thing. We went to my wife's aunt's house, and 90-year-old woman, and she still cooked the entire meal. And Yeah, so I had no leftovers. We basically demolished everything that was there, and the only thing we brought home was some dinner rolls. Okay, so let's see. No, it blocks from reading chat. Yeah. Oh, it blocks the reading chat. Oh, I thought it blocked inputting chat. Um, yeah. Again, if I have to use um, a third party extension, I just don't want to muck things up because they're dumb. So they are for new subs. Why annoy the older ones? Oh, I see. You're talking about shorts. Well, that's why I try to change the nature of the shorts. A little bit. I've been looking around to see. I think subscribers like to see some short content as well. So uh, you tell me what you want to see, Mobius, and I will take a look at it, and hopefully I can deliver some shorts at least that are of an interest for you. Yeah, I'm on the computer, so I don't see it. I'm sure that if I was in the on a cell phone, I would see it. It just takes a while. It blocks like the most recent comment, um, and you have to wait till they scroll beyond. So let's see. I am not savvy on the app either, but shorts get the clicks. Yes, they do. Um, Oh, so thank you, Terry, for reminding me that the $100 level comes with the screen. I was hoping. YouTube wants to be TikTok, and that's why they're bumping the almighty algorithm. Yes, yeah, it's just like Wizards of the Coast wants D&D to be the new Fortnite, and they literally believe that by 2027 they are going to have 50 million users on their VTT. It's not going to happen, but they really think that they will. And that's what they're banking on. And there's going to be hell to pay when they don't get there. All these companies think that they're going to be the big boy. Is kind of weird because it's like sometimes you're trying to capture lightning in the bottle a second time, and it's just not going to happen. So, gaming news opinion. So, Al, as far as I, I don't like to get into the. I like to talk about gaming news as it relates to the hobby in general. So, like when I see different trends in the hobby, like I've been doing. I even did a short video, I think, on tourists. What I call tourists. A tourist is, and the left on Twitter really hates when you call them out for this, but to me, a tourist is someone who is entering a hobby or a form of entertainment or whatever, and their intention is not to participate in it as it is and as it's presented, but their intention is to go into it and to insert their own things and their own desires and their own and then eventually their own demands on it. And so I call those tourists because if eventually they don't get their way, they're going to move on anyway. And a tourist, even in the true sense of the term, a tourist is somebody who comes in, they interact with that environment, and then they move on. All right, and they leave no trace of themselves as they go. And so what these tourists are doing is they're coming in and they're laying waste to the traditions and the foundations of what they found, and then they move on. Hopefully they move on, and there's still something left that can rebuild once they've destroyed it. They're more colonists than anything, but even colonists remain potentially for an extended period of time, if not a lifetime. And I don't think that they have that kind of staying power. I think that once they've destroyed it, they'll move on and go on to the next thing. So they're more like locusts than anything else. Maybe I'll start calling them that. I'll start calling them locusts. Yeah, those other places is mostly politics, I think. Yeah, and I mean there are some channels. There are channels that's their bread and butter, and they get into the drama around the hobby. And I don't like to spend time on that. I like to be much more, you know, this is what my gaming looks like. These are the games that interest me. This is what my players and I did this past week, and this is a new game that is coming out, or this is an older game that you might not have seen before, and do a deeper dive into that and such. So it's not that I dislike those kinds of videos. I just don't feel the need to get into them. And I get kind of bored even watching some of them when they'll show someone else's video, and they will go through it and they'll critique it. And a lot of times, and I don't know why this is, but sometimes they don't give that original video enough time to breathe, so that you can actually hear what's being said before they overlay it with commentary. And sometimes their commentary, reminds me of what I used to tell my students, when my students were summarizing something. And I've had students do this in the past. They'll summarize a 3-paragraph document, and their summary is 8 paragraphs long. I'm like, how are you doing that? How are you summarizing something? How are you going to take let's say you're taking a 5-second snippet and then talk for the next 25 minutes about it? And I mean, that might be a slight exaggeration, but it's certainly 10 times longer than the snippet itself, that they're commenting on it. And to me, that's just like, holy cow, get to the point, or allow it to breathe a little bit so I can kind of understand what they were initially saying. And I'll certainly disagree with them, but it's like, and the other thing I don't like when they do that is, I think that they really should, in their comments section, leave the original video. And I get it when I don't want to give that site any traffic, but it's like, let your subscribers or your listeners decide on their own, to go in there. And when I recently did this and I went to that, I mean, I generated something like a 70 thread, a 70 message thread in there, just disagreeing with them, and it became like a snowball. All of that content went to them, sure. But the point was that the biggest thread on in their comment section was actually pointing out their flaws of thinking, and not supporting them, in general. So it was, I just, to get into get into that. I wouldn't do that on my channel, where I'm, like the most recent one I did was Condor DM, and I haven't spoken of him since. And I still gave his video the full time to run through so that you can see it. And I believe I even linked it in there so you could see it, and he has since disappeared from the internet anyway. So and that again goes back quite a few months. So anyway, let's move forward, and let's see. It is in the dashboard. I don't see it in the dashboard. All right, so I've gone in there where the live chat is, the option on each video to turn off live reacts. I will look again, but I don't see it. I'll take a look at the next time I have a live stream that I'm planning on. I've already have it scheduled for December 5th. That is my players from my AD&D First Edition campaign, and I will take a look before December 5th. I will make sure that if that exists in the dashboard, then I will have the option to turn off live chat. Does it turn off? Turn off the live chat is I don't want to turn off live chat. What I want to turn off is just the emotes in live chat. If I have to turn off live chat, I'm not doing that. So that's just not going to happen. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do this and respond to your chats here. So if we're talking about two different things, then fine. Well, I will certainly look into it. Sorry means plus the screen. The screen is actually extra. All right, yeah, and I'm definitely getting the screen anyway because I intend to play it. Run it. In some cases, you're not going to necessarily capture all of the lightning in the bottle for some OSR games, but some OSR games are actually better than their original roots. $50 million Norman tourists to shit up the game. It's not going to be the game that we know of as far as a tabletop role-playing game. It's going to be they made the attempt at it. Sword Coast Legends was actually a game that you can create your own adventures and then post them up there, and people could play those adventures as written. It was really a brilliant model. They just didn't want to put any money into fixing the bugs that it did have, and they didn't want to. They were very one and done. Wizards of the Coast is a one and done company. They will put out a source book. Let's say the Dragonland source book that you just put, the Dragon Queen, Shadow of the Dragon Queen. They will never put out another Dragonlance resource. No new adventures for it, no nothing. They did the same thing with Ravenloft. They did the same thing with whether it be Spelljammer or any of those. None of those setting / adventure books will ever have follow-ups. They will not. They are a one and done. We're going to just do it one time. It's like one shots of their settings and it's one shots of their adventure paths and no revisitation to them whatsoever, and no replayability of them whatsoever either, because they are so railroady that there's no point in ever running them again or returning to them again. So it's it's just not a model that I think is going to serve them well. No, you're not too harsh. Usurpers, yeah, but like Conan. he took over Aquilonia, and then he regretted it every moment of his life until the day that he died, all right, or the day that he sailed off into the west and was never seen again. But basically, yeah, I mean, it was no, you know, they don't they don't leave a better place than they found. Let's put it that way. Those are the ones to gatekeep out. Absolutely. And I just got into, talking about, not getting into these things. I recently just got into that whole thing of, gatekeeping, and I was like, um you can't gatekeep an entire hobby. It's impossible. You can't do it. I can't prevent you from doing what you want at your own table. If I had that power, that would be true gatekeeping. I can only protect my own table from certain players, and really player actions, or player attitudes, or just what they bring to the table. I can gatekeep that, and actually a positive thing that we should all be doing, right? You want the people at your table to play well with others at the table, including yourself as the game master. And if you get somebody that's there for some other purpose than playing the game, the way that you envision that game being played as the game master, then yeah, you gatekeep, you send them off. I often say, and people will actually attack me for this. I said, I let everyone sit at my table. All right. I don't care what you look like, how you introduce yourself, do whatever. When you sit down at my table, I'm going to assume that you're there to play. Once you've proven that you're not there to just play, you're there to do something other than playing, then I'm going to ask you to leave, or you know, I'm not going to cater to that. You're going to start to feel uncomfortable, and then you're going to leave on your own. And it's like, good. I hope that you find what you're looking for, but it's obviously not here at this table. That's fine. That is absolutely fine. So anytime that if people want to call that gatekeeping, fine, it's gatekeeping then. But I can't gatekeep the entire hobby. I don't even want to tell somebody what they can do at their table. All right, but they certainly will. They'll certainly say, "Oh well, we're not talking about it because I've had these conversations before," and they'll say, "Well, yeah, but you shouldn't be allowed to have pieces of shit playing at your table." No, fuck off. That's not your call. Mind your own damn business. I'm going to run my table the way that I want. And if I want to play with people that you dislike, kick sand. You don't have to be here. Goodbye. And that's the time when I do push back on these ideas. I do get gaming political when we're talking about these kinds of things, because that I see as not a detriment to the whole hobby. Because I mean, I had another person say, well, this reflects poorly on the entire hobby. No, it doesn't. It reflects poorly on that one individual person. So you're going to choose not to play at their table. Go to another freaking table. Maybe you're the problem, and people are just telling you that this is not the table for you, and you need to correct yourself. All right. But don't look to change the way that other people play at their tables, because you're certainly not going to be open to them telling you how to run things at your table. And if everybody did that, they kind of, just minded their own business and just made sure that everyone at their table is having fun, is enjoying the company that they're in, and wants to come back, that's all that matters. All right. That is the hobby. All right. That's what it's meant to do. So, That's my rant. Let me have my last sip of. I'm drinking Kraken Black Roast Coffee Rum. If you haven't tried it and you're into rum, absolutely phenomenal. I'm getting like the RPG pundit when he talks about what pipe model and tobacco he's smoking. Thank you, Matt. The bad thing is that the RPG producers pander to them. Yeah, but not really good RPG producers because they lower their quality when they do pander to them. So I don't think that Wizards of the Coast or Paizo that panders to them the most make really good product. They don't, and they're continuously reducing the quality of their product in order to meet these people, and these people don't have the agenda when they sit at the table to play the game as it is. They have the agenda of changing the game to what they want, and that's the reason why, as someone who's looking to gatekeep, you're looking to just protect your own table. That's all you should be concerned about. I have a group of 8 to 10 players that are at my table currently, and even though most of us are in our 50s and such, I could play with these players for the next 20 years or more, and we don't have to concern ourselves with anything else beyond that. I don't need a new game system for 20 years. I have more than enough that I can run with what I have. So that's just the nature of the hobby that they really can't stand. But that's the nature of the hobby, and that's where I kind of lay on that line. There is that those that are going to cater to to pander to them are just going to weaken their own product in the meantime. Yes, they're less based and comfy products. So that's why I'm an old school person, right? You don't run into that when you're running old school games. And the more that they drive people away from their current thing, more people are going to, those that choose to stay in the hobby are going to find their way to the OSR and indie games. It's just a natural migration from their, from that bland product that they're producing to ones that have a little bit more edge to them. Yep, they will leave the fandom of that game system an empty husk. Yes, and Wizards doesn't care about that. They're perfectly fine with everybody abandoning 5e. They think that they're going to bring them to their 6th edition VTG, which is not going to happen. That's a pipe dream. Yep, promote what you like. All right, let's see. Let me try to get caught up with these here. You're getting a Canadian opinion of TTRPGs. Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where. I'm not sure whom. I don't think I can have a Canadian opinion. Maybe you're talking about Bo, maybe? I'm not sure. But anyway, trying to make up my mind if I want the TM RPG. I have the originals. The reason why I would get them, Mobius, and I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money, but the reason why I got them is because I intend to run them, and I'm not going to bring out my original copies to bring to a table to run them there. I am going to, use these as a way to, show off the game system for hopefully a new generation. I'm going to switch my light on over here. So don't mind me. I'm just going to slide over, and it's starting to get dark out. There we go. Sorry about that brief intermission. So let's see. Speaking of 12 to 5, is that Shadow or OGM? I'm not sure. I'm behind in chat, so I'm going to try to get caught up. So I'm not sure. Both Shadow and OGGM are playing in my upcoming Castles and Crusades campaign, using Iggsburg. So I'm using the Iggsburg setting, and I just picked up the Castle of the Mad Archmage from Robert Bloch, which is he has a different system, but it's compatible with Castles and Crusades as well. So that's who I'm using for that, and until Troll Lord Games releases the upper works of Castle Zadig, I'm going to use that one instead. Let's see. Oh, he's taking shots when he says OSR or paramedics standing by. I'm not sure who. I'll get caught up. I'm sorry. I'm looking at. Yes, that I am. That's my stance. You're gatekeeping your own table. Wednesday afternoon, I ran Swords and Wizardry. Hey, Cal, how's it going? Swords and Wizardry, but I didn't kill a single character or NPC. I'm a failure. I ran a AD&D first edition campaign, and technically only one player character died in over 2 years. In 100, and I think his character died, and they were lucky they had a raised dead scroll. And even then, they needed several. They needed 2 clerics to actually piggyback and actually cast it with a halfway decent success rate attached to it. And then he still had to make a system shock and all of that. But technically speaking, we went 100 sessions without a single PC dying. And I'm not a lightweight dungeon master, and they were just really lucky, because there were 28 leading up to that. There were 27 opportunities for characters to die in 100 sessions, and it wasn't until the 28th system shock check that one of them actually died. And then once I applied the damage that he was dealt damage that brought him to -7 hit points, but he was still dead at -7. And then when they did the raised dead, there was he had to make his system shock with 7 points taken from his constitution to make that check. So he had to make a system shock with like a constitution of a 2 or a 3, I forget exactly which, in order to survive being raised from the dead with that. So it was several layers of it. And sometimes, if you have good players, they don't make like tremendous mistakes. So it happens less often with them anyway. But once they get to higher levels, they're going to be reaching creatures that dish a lot of damage, and that's what killed him, was a an ancient plague dragon breath weapon. Basically, killed him. Um, but you can't see the mini. Alright. Um, I'll definitely take a look at it. Hey, Shadow, how's it going? There is always next week. All right. Maybe the next con in February. I hope they want to continue, but we had a necromancer break off his attack. The party didn't expect it. All right. So Shadow, not sure too much what you missed. But anyway, December 5th is the summary. Yes. So December 5th, we are going to summarize our time playing AD&D First Edition, and everyone that played in that game is invited to attend, whether they were there for the first 4 weeks or lasted all the way through 108 weeks. So should be a lot of fun bringing everybody on. No, we don't need a new game system. I mean, I'm plenty satisfied with the game systems that I do have. Now, I am going to, I am still going to run and pick up. That's just deer on my lawn. Um, I am going to run plenty of games as I get them. Probably in convention settings as well. So certainly running Shadow Dark at the next convention that I go to in April. Hopefully, I heard that the cargo ship that they're on arrived in New York like last week at some point. I was going to kind of tease them and say, "Hey, I could drive down there and pick it up directly off the dock if that's possible." Then I think they have to get sent to the distribution. Should get them by December. At least that's what they're saying. Maybe the end of December. So maybe I'll get it in December, and then I will uh, definitely run it in April. Yeah. So I am running, probably several games there. Let's see. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Al. Yeah, and I will continue doing that as well with my new campaign, showing off the maps, showing how, what they've uncovered along the way. I'm looking to do that in a little bit more detail than I've done in the past. So yeah, you could the certainly see an improvement in that. At least I'm hoping that you'll see that improved. Yep, if it's innovative and new, people will play it. If it's old and new to them, I think they'll play it too. I've never had a problem booking a table and filling a table at a convention where I'm running gangbusters or I'm running an older game system. I mean, D&D Beck Me fills up fast, or D&D BX. No problem running those. If I went to run Call of Cthulhu Second Edition, guaranteed I'm filling that table. So I have never had that problem of running an old game. When I ran Bushido, filled the table. Um, I guarantee you, any older game that people might have kind of vaguely heard about, you're going to fill that table. So it doesn't have to be new to fill a table. It just has to be good to fill the table. Um, yeah, again, I just kind of covered that. I think that if it's good, people will come. Yeah, I followed the. I haven't looked at one of his videos in ages, so I don't know about the Dungeon Minister. Let's see. Lay down, Bella. My dog is starting to get Joseph Block. Yeah, did I say Robert? I'm sorry, Joseph Block. Um, I always want to say Robert for some reason. I don't know why. I apologize, Joseph, if I let it go too long. Okay, let's see what else. Let's get caught up. Yeah, I bet if you run Star Trek FASA at a thing, you will fill up that table in a blink. Guaranteed, you will fill that up real fast. Let's see. Let's see. I skipped Gillespie's system, but I did back Adventure Conquer King 2. Hey, Takato, how's it going? Yeah, I'm also looking for names. Anybody new? O'Neill, how's it going? Good to see you. GM Cody, welcome. Enjoy your video on Legendary Adventures. Hope you talk more about it. And Dangerous Journeys. Yes, I will get to both. I'm going to certainly spend some time on Legendary Adventures. Then I am, in the very beginning, I kind of went through the whole list of my upcoming videos. I will actually throw that banner up here. So this is what's upcoming. And then, so Conan the Barbarian, #3 Titan Comics, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Kickstarter ending soon. And I'm going to start showing some of the mechanics of that as well. Legendary Adventures character creation is coming up. Robert E. Howard, new series of shorts. So I'm going to spend some time with Robert E. Howard and going over some short videos with that. And then the worlds of Gary Gygax and going into some of the other worlds of Gary, as well as some of his other game systems, which will include Dangerous Journeys as well. So, let me get rid of that banner. Oh, geez. Hold on. I am sorry about that. I clicked too many times. It was that second shot that I just did. I haven't seen a new game in over 20 years I want to run. I have so many old games I'd rather play, like Boot Hill, Gamma World, Traveler, and Top Secret. Um, yeah, there's some good new games out there that are a lot of fun to run. I mean, look at Weird Frontiers is an awesome game to run. Um, so I strongly suggest you you take a look at some games like that, Shadow. Yeah, I really don't get into, I try to avoid all kinds of politics in gaming as much as I possibly can. I consider religion a politic as well. So I avoid it. Yeah. Okay. So yes, but are you the lazy DM? uh, okay. So let's see, what else did I have coming up? So I will mention once again that it is Venture Satanis's birthday. So if you get a chance, wish him a happy birthday over on his Twitter or elsewhere on his channel as well. So let's see. Cal is not Mike Shea. Yeah. Is he the late? He's the lazy guy. I always mix people up and everything. Yeah, I think that's the name of his book series. Is the Lazy DM. Sly Forest, called D&D Players, Colonizers, in his new book. But what era of D&D player is he talking about? I like to steal stuff, combine it, run with it. Yeah, and I'm certainly doing that as well. Like I said, I'm looking to. I'm running Castles and Crusades set in Ixburg. I was running Castles and Crusades set in Greyhawk, but then once Trollord Games started releasing some of this stuff, I'm gonna bring it on over. But Castles Agic itself, I am going to be using Joseph Block's, Joseph Block's Mega Dungeon for that instead, because it's laid out much easier to follow along than something originally written by Gary Gygax. Like I said, his world building is phenomenal. His adventure writing and organization is a bit tough. So I haven't started digging into Joseph Block's Mega Dungeon there, but from what I could see by the formatting and everything, I can already tell it's going to make a lot more sense than anything that Gary had put together. So I'm certainly looking forward to using that instead. So yeah, it's fine to pick and piece things together and run whatever you think is going to work best at your table, and it's great to mix and match. No one system can do everything that you're really hoping for it to do, and so borrowing from other systems and converting adventure modules to your own purposes is really what I do. I mean, I'm like a big map thief. I will steal the map and then change the whole storyline to such an extent that it really does feel like a different adventure altogether, even though we were just using the map itself for the most part. I can't wait to do a deep dive on some of the classics next year. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it as well. Looking forward to digging into some of the older game systems. I have not done a video on like Boot Hill yet, and start digging through that and showing that off. I think you and I, Shadow, have a similar problem. We have so much old stuff that it literally take months, if not years, to actually dig through everything that we have. But I'm going to slowly but surely chip away at it as much as I can. I immediately waste my time on Sly. Yeah. Yeah. At my last, I'm actually wearing the T-shirt from the last convention I went to, just to bring it up. We were playing the Swords of the Serpentine, I think, which is another OSR system. Actually, it's more independent than it is OSR, and the creator of it, I want to say his last name is Culp. I forget his first name. I don't want to say Robert Culp because that's the actor, but it might be as well. But anyway, Kevin Culp. So he's running the adventure, and then we were like 4 hours in, and then all of a sudden or like 3.5 hours in, let's say, and then all of a sudden he remembered. He was like, "Oh," and he takes out these X cards, and he was like, "If anybody," he says, I just totally forgot. If anybody feels that they need these," and we all just like looked at them sitting in the center of the table, and we had a mixed crowd, a mixed table there. There was there was one woman, pretty sure with her boyfriend, and then two guys that were in their 30s. The woman and the boyfriend were in their late 20s at most. um uh yes, yeah, Robert Culp was the greatest American hero. But anyway, no, I'm pretty sure it's Kevin Culp. But anyway, when he put out the X cards on the table, we all just kind of looked at them, and I was thinking, I was like, we're like 90% done here, and now you thought to do it." And but nobody was going to use those stupid things anyway. We didn't need it. We were all adults playing a game. We were having a lot of fun. We had some banter going on, but no one was going to say anything, you know, untoward or just off. It just that's just not what happens at tables. It's like, there was no racial jokes or sexist jokes, or there was no, you know playing around with pronouns. Nobody sat there, "Oh, my preferred pronouns." Nobody had that written on their tags or anything like that. And like I said, we were multiple generations at this table. We were a mixed gender table, and nobody was thinking about it. We just weren't. We were just sitting. We sat down to play the game. That's what everybody was there for. No other agendas, but to sit down and play the game. So let's see. See, Avengers cards are not X cards. Avengers cards are prompts. They're thought prompts. So if you want your DM or game master to include something that's more Eldritch horror, then you toss out your Eldritch horror card, and then he or she will flip it up, what's going on, and try to integrate Eldritch horror into the next scene that you're about to enter into. And the only thing I pointed out to Venger was that he needed to explain how the card should be used. Not just, "Oh, here's the cards." Like, how many cards does everybody get? When do they, can they just throw the cards, at any time? Do certain cards void out other cards or such? Or, are you going to let everybody you're just going to take two cards from the deck? And you could play those two cards at any time, but no more than two cards can be played at the same time. So two players, each one throws a card out there, then a third, fourth, or fifth player won't be able to put their card out there at the same time. That will give the game master a little bit of an ability to to integrate two cards simultaneously, or it'll give the game master the ability to say, yeah, those two cards aren't going to work together. You take that one back. I'm going to run with this, and then you can throw your card in. Like, just have some kind of a rule, and some kind of a practice put in place on how the card should be used. All right. So I know AI ordered a custom set from Venture is online. A few writers are regularly enjoying. All right. Yeah, he does write like good stuff. I find his stuff to be really interesting. Good, and he's making print friendly cards. Yeah. Agreed, Al. Most of the new ideas are not all that new and worth the price of admission. Yeah, yeah. Some things are just not. They're not something new enough to make it worth getting. And I run across that in OSR too. Like there's certain OSR products that I'm like, I really don't feel the need to get this. Why do I need this? That's what I did with Gillespie's. His game. I didn't back it, and I was like, it's combining. I believe it was combining Holmes Edition and First Edition. It's like, but I have Holmes Edition and I have First Edition or AD&D First Edition. I have them both. I can basically combine them in ways, and I don't need to buy another product in order to do that. Um, so, and that was a question I asked. I was like, well, if I already have this and I already have that, then why do I need to buy this that does both together? I mean, Shadow might even be aware of this as well because he played in my group. I ran AD&D First Edition for 108 sessions, 108 weeks. We ran First Edition AD&D. You can see behind me Osric. I used Osric maybe once in the last session just to see if I could find something in there faster than using the original books. But all throughout those 108 weeks, I used the original books just because there is something that takes, an OSR interpretation of an older game, an older edition, let's say, and tweaks it and even makes it better as far as formatting and finding information. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're still going to use it, and that's where I start falling on the line of saying, unless it does something really innovative. I know somebody mentioned it earlier on. Unless it does something really innovative, just because it's new, I'm not going to necessarily buy it. Oh, let me mute this for a second. Okay, sorry about that delay. That was the wife calling. She wants to know what she can bring me home for dinner, even though she's probably not going to be home in more than an hour. Um, so, and the dog has to eat soon. So I'm going to wrap this up in a little bit. I'm going to probably push this to the 2 hour mark. So another half hour or so. We'll see how the comments go. Holmes is First Edition. What is there to combine? Holmes is not for when I say First Edition, I meant AD&D. Holmes is not First Edition. Holmes is OD&D, more so, or it's actually it's a BX version of D&D. Mulvey was the first true D&D line. Yeah, I don't know. Again, uh, Holmes and Moldvay were the first BX versions of it. All right. Then you have you have Mensers, and that is the BECMI, so Beckme, and really I is a throwaway. It's a totally different game, which he says. And most people only use basic and expert, and they don't go beyond that. So it's essentially BX anyway. AD&D First Edition is a totally different animal. So it's that's essentially a different game system. And second edition makes a radical difference from first edition AD&D. So and we could go back and forth and quibble over, well, where is the true shift taking place. I think that there's definitely three segments of old school D&D. That and then when I say D&D, I don't mean D&D as in original or basic. I'm talking about D&D as a whole. Certainly three segments of TSR D&D. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and welcome, Mark. Good to see you. Yeah, yeah, that's the what I'm saying. It's like I didn't get the Kickstarter for OSE, and even though I picked up in like one of those big humble bumble bundles for like $1, and I got like 17 PDFs, and OSE happened to be the two advanced PDFs I got for free basically. That was when I looked at it, I was like, oh, I haven't used it since. I played once in it, and I don't feel that I really need it because I have enough OSR and I have enough original games that I can just run those. Mark, don't do that with TMT. The dice are Kickstarter exclusives. Yeah, somebody mentioned the Shredder dice. I'm definitely going to get a set of dice for it. Like I said, I just don't have metal dice, so that would be my first metal dice anyway. There it is. 3 days and the Shredder aluminum dice are gone for good. I don't understand. You can get those as a whatchamacallit. Oh, I see what you're saying. They're exclusive to the Kickstarter, so you won't get those. Well, I back the Kickstarter, so I'll get them. Back it at $1, and then later on you can always up it even after the thing, Mark. So yeah, you could back it for $1 and then decide later on, I want to expand on that. That locks you into changing your backing, at least in 99% of the cases. That's the case. Backing Dragon Slayer was a total impulse. I got sucked in by the art. I actually do not need it. Right? Yeah, it's and like I said, I'm glad that it was backed. I'm glad that it met its goal. And Holmes is not AD&D First Edition. It's just not. It's a totally different thing. It was the intro to 1E before Gary got done with it. Yeah, but there's still parts of it that are not in AD&D First Edition. So I mean, I'll grab Holmes and go over it at some point, but they're not the same. It's not the intro. it was along the it was along the it was along the trajectory of it. Um, Moldvay came out, and I felt that Moldvay was cleaning up some of the issues of the Holmes edition. I mean, that's why I followed it. Um, Holmes, I did not see it as a transition, a direct transition into AD&D first edition. Um, they were absolutely separate. Now, D&D Back Me was meant to be a totally different line from OD&D and from AD&D first edition. Moldvay was the magenta box. Got it right back there. um, all right, let's see. We were sold Holmes and one EMM as the same game, um, but they weren't. Now you could use the monster manual, 1E monster manual, with Holmes, but but they were different enough to just be different. I mean, there's a reason. Gary explained why he released the monster manual first, because he said a monster manual is what you build the game around. And so that's why it was the monster manual first, followed by the player's handbook, followed by the DMG. That was the order in which they were released. And so you weren't necessarily getting a true game rules to run with the monster manual. You were kind of, you were going to run it with Holmes edition or even Moldvay, the Moldvay edition of the game before you got to there. Moldvay might have came out immediately following it. Maybe I'm a little bit off. I'm like maybe 1 year off or so. It might have been Holmes AD&D first edition monster manual followed by Moldvay in that order. So I will have to double check and look. All right. I don't want to get my timeline off either. Yeah, I know that some people were saying that they were skeptical about Kickstarter from Palladium. They would be crazy to drop that ball. And I think that it would really hurt them if they did, because they had to get some real negotiating done with Paramount to allow them to to publish it again. And so I think that if they really dropped the ball and it made the franchise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles harmed by not fulfilling the Kickstarter, let's say, I think Paramount would just literally destroy Palladium if they made that kind of a misstep. So I can almost guarantee it would be career suicide for their company if they didn't follow through on the Kickstarter. Yeah, they may have marketed it one way, but again, um, how it's marketed and what it actually is are two different things. I mean, they weren't going to say we're gonna give you the monster manual first, and then you'll get the game rules on how to use the book later. They're going to say you're going to get the monster manual first, and you can use the previous rules and integrate these new monsters into it, and they're compatible. I mean, look at what like Wizards of the Coast is saying now about supposed backwards compatibility. They always claim that there's backwards compatibility um, while they're waiting for the new products to come out. So that's not going to change things. There's in all forms of gaming, they've always had that. There was always those big questions, when PlayStation 2 came out. The big question was will it be able to run PlayStation 1 discs? And they were like, absolutely. There was a console out there that didn't do that, and it failed. All right. It couldn't run. Even some of the earlier like Sega things, they had the combo, right? It would use the cartridge or the 8-bit stick at the same time. Like you could put both of them in there. Backwards compatibility is something that is required. I think Neo Geo was the only one that wasn't really backwards compatible, or there was only one iteration of it because they knew they couldn't go backwards compatible with a newer system because those cartridges were like this freaking huge and super super thick, and they weren't going to go that way. But it's uh it's just something. It's marketing. Remember, marketing isn't always truthful. It's not always the reality. Home 77, 1E 77, PHB, DMG, Moldva 81. All right. Yeah. So like I said, I knew what it was somewhere in there. Um so Moldva came out after that, but Moldva was more of an extension of Home 77 than it was of, it had little connection to um AD&D first edition. But I'm going to sit down and I will take a look at the three since I have all three and I can see where they'll go. And I'll gladly do a video on just looking at all three side by side and going through and seeing how they change and what they're more connected to across those three. But yeah, I will certainly take a look at it myself. Mulvey was the first one that I bought myself because I was always using my friends' games, and then it wasn't until after that that I picked up the AD&D First Edition. But once AD&D First Edition came out, we stopped playing D&D BX, or and I'm pretty sure we were playing Homes. We stopped and we moved on to AD&D once that came out. Yes, they're throwing away backwards compatibility because and they're throwing out buying the new one. I mean, in their recent statements and everything, they're basically saying you don't need to buy the new 2024 editions if they're not backwards compat, like if they're just the same thing that you're currently playing. They keep on going back and forth with it, and they don't know what the hell to say anymore. That's where marketing and reality kind of don't come together, right? They're saying one thing, but they're really producing something completely different than what they're saying. Okay. So I am going to probably wrap this up in a couple more minutes. So if there's anything else anyone wants to bring up, now's the time to do so. We kind of ran a full gambit of things. Let's see. So I am going to. So going forward, this is kind of the list of videos that I'm planning on doing. Now I'm going to add one to do that comparison between those three: Holmes Edition, AD&D First Edition, and Moldvay, and see what I can pick up out of the three players handbooks essentially, and see what, how they transition. So that will be something I'll throw in there, in a quick way to respond to what's coming out of this live stream. So as always, you all have the possibility to impact what I'm looking to do on the channel. And I greatly appreciate it. It always brings up, great things to talk about. And now for something completely different. Yes. Yes, we are going to move. And welcome, Dr. Phobos. Good to see you. And so let's see what else. So a little shameless plugging. I will say that the subscriber count is around 2950-ish, and hoping to get to 3,000. At 3,005 subs, I am going to start doing some giveaways, and I have a few gaming products, probably about 6 to 10 that I'm looking to give away. One of which is the Star Wars. I have two copies of the hardback Star Wars West End Games core rule books. So I'm giving away one of those. I have a couple of Castles and Crusades, like the 10th printing of a player's handbook, the green back, and possibly another book from that printing series that I will be giving away because I just don't need them. I have some other game products that I have multiple copies of. I have one Rose Estes book, a novel that I had 2 copies of, so I'll be giving that one of those away as well. I think I have one extra novel of the Bard series that somehow I ended up with a second book there, so that I will be giving away as well. So there will be a number of products where I have multiple copies that I will be giving away as as freebies, basically. If you're in the continental United States, and so the shipping cost won't cost me an arm and a leg. And if you're on that stream when I'm doing that particular giveaway, then I will use one of those things that does like a, I saw the Legion of Myth used one where it was like a battle kind of thing, like a battle royal. And everyone that was in the chat they'd go through and it would do the describing how they were killed and everything. And it came all the way down to a single last man standing kind of thing. And then that person was the winner of that round. And then they did multiple rounds thereafter. So I will definitely check with Max and see what he actually used for it. I need 55. That means it just dropped again. So it was at 40. It was at 29.49. So unless I'm at 25, actually I said 3,005. So if I have 55, I'm back up to 29.50. All right. So needs 22K to hit 1 million. Let's make both happen this weekend. Well, I certainly don't expect to get 55 subs this weekend. Would love for it to happen. That would be awesome. I'm hoping for sometime in early December. That way I can get these things shipped out to you, and perhaps you'll get something during the holiday season or very, very close to the holiday season for you to, have something a little extra in there. So 55 this weekend would be awesome, but I seriously doubt it. I'd like to stay stay even keel on my expectations, let's say. TNT needs 22,000 to hit 1 million. I think it really will. I certainly do. So I'll let you know when we'll get there soon. Yes, I know that we will. I know that we will eventually, the channel will eventually get to 3,000. And like I said, if it happens before December 30th, which is the anniversary of the channel, that would be awesome. If it takes a little bit longer, it takes a little bit longer. I really do appreciate everybody that's coming in. I appreciate even the people that pass through. I encourage you to subscribe and hit the alerts button so you get these alerts. I don't often do these, spur of the moment impromptu live streams. I try to give you a few days notice, but I really appreciate everybody that jumped in when they did today, considering I only gave about 20 minutes notice before I went live, and really enjoyed the conversation. And again, it sparked a new thing for me to take a look at. So I will do that comparison, L, and take a look, and I will stand. I stand to be corrected if it turns out that the Homes edition was the true flow directly into AD&D First Edition. Oh no, this is still an impromptu one. I know everybody streams like every freaking day of the week. It's like a Saturday afternoon. I guess nobody really streams on a Saturday afternoon. So maybe that'll be a good time for me to do it. But Thursday is sometimes a good day for me to stream. And I'm not going to shy away from it. Tuesday nights is my game night. So I'm only streaming on December 5th because that's my game night, and we're doing a wrap-up, a campaign wrap-up with all of my players coming in, or hopefully all of them will come in. And then the following week, the 12th, I'm starting my new CNC campaign, Castles and Crusades campaign, set in the Iggsburg setting, Gary Gygax's Iggsburg setting, and then enhanced with some Joseph Block materials as well. And so I will be going forward with that. So I'll probably get back to streaming, live streams on Thursdays. Unfortunately, that's the time when it works best for me. And sorry about stepping on anybody else's toes or whatever. I haven't figured out the best time to piggyback off of anybody, because they tend to run super long streams. I tend to keep my streams around 2 hours, and to piggyback off of them makes it too hard to push forward, and last that late into the night. My wife is usually literally, sleeping 12 feet away from me when I'm on the computer. So it's, and she gets up early in the morning for work. So that's just the way it is. So anyway, I appreciate everybody having stopped in. We're coming up on the 2-hour mark, so I'm kind of keeping right to that. How can you stand corrected when you're sitting down? Yes, I will stand up and then be corrected. So no worries. I just paint and chill. Nothing serious. Yeah, I'm looking to do so. Bo, reach out. I will certainly make contact with you. Probably on Discord. I'll reach out to you on Discord, and we can see when we can set that up and do that joint painting session. Really looking forward to that. If Bo is still here, hopefully he is. Not going to lie. I leave here on Thursday and go to Shadow. Yeah, and that's fine. All right, take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. And yes, I am going to wrap this one up as well. And I will all see you on the gaming screen or at a convention sometime soon. Next live stream for me definitely will be December 5th. That's a Tuesday night. And that will be a campaign wrap-up live stream. So really looking forward to that. Hope you are as well. And I will see you all then. Have a great day. Take care.